Okay, welcome back. Dear students, let us take the first chapter of geography. Name, resources and development. So whenever we start to study the NCERT textbook, please look into this hologram. When you are scanning this part, you will get different exercises from the Diksha app that will help you as a part of our study in the online course. Let us start with the geography. The first chapter, resources and development. Dear students, before going to learn this chapter, some of the basic things which you have to understand when you are getting a hard copy of the textbook. Please look into this mark. In your mobile, if you are scanning this mark, you will get online assistance from the Diksha. There you will get the explanation, learning objectives, and as well as the assessments related to this concept. Every page, whatever explanation is necessary, that you will get it from this app. For that, this hologram has been given in your textbook, so you have to purchase new editions of the book. This hologram is not available in the old publications. Second, tip number 2, I can say, you have to develop your own notes. When you will listen to the concept, what are the important points from this page being highlighted that you have to understand and you have to take in your notes. In the left margin and the right margin of your notebook, how to use it? Whenever your left margin is there, this will indicate the number or the tabs. In this margin of your notebook, create dictionary that will help you whenever you are reading your notes, the meaning of the word will be clear for you. So let us look into this title of the chapter, resources and development. What do you mean by resource? Everything available in the environment can be called as a resource? No. Then what can be called as a resource? Everything which is available in your environment, which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as a resource. Here, when we come, technologically accessible in the sense where the technology is available to extract these resources, economically feasible in the sense there should be a possibility our labor or the technology's cost should not be more than the value of extraction of that resource. Another one, it should be culturally acceptable for the society. So these three terminologies are very important when you are learning about the definition of resource. Once again, the resource means which is available in the environment, which is going to satisfy our needs. It is technologically accessible one, economically possible to extract, culturally acceptable, can be termed as a resource. But here we have to understand, to make the resource into usable goods, there is a process that we call it as a transformation of the resources. It is possible when we have a interactive relationship between the nature, technology and institutions. All these three, when they will interact, the resource it turns to be, or the product will be usable for us. Here, dear children, we have to understand the meaning of resource, how it can be converted into a resource. Resource is having a three important terminologies. One is technologically accessible one, economically feasible, culturally acceptable. Whereas the transformation of this natural resource, we have to process it. For that, we should have an interactive relationship between nature, technology and institutions. Okay, then it is resources are a function of human activity. But we have to understand, in each and every resource which we call it, for the processing of the natural things, the human activities are involved in it. So the human themselves are the important resources, because we have to transfer the materials which are available in the environment into resource. Fine. Let us think how these resources can be classified. In the broad sense, the resources are classified natural and human made. This we have studied in other integrated courses also, like science. So the natural is concerned renewable and non-renewable, and continuous, or we can say flow, or a biological. In the biological, again it has been classified into two groups, natural and wildlife. In the non-renewable, in the sense, it takes a long time in the history of the earth to replenish. These can be classified into two groups, recyclable and non-recyclable. These are the natural resources. Whereas the human resources are concerned, structures, institutions, organizations, companies, factories, etc., which we have developed. And it has been quantified, the quality also going to be assessed. This is also human efforts. Human is going to access it, assess it, quantify it, identify the quality. So in the broad sense, the resources are classified natural and human. Further classification we have went through. But there are many ways for the classification of the resources. When we are coming for the classification of the resources are concerned, these resources can be classified, especially the natural resources can be classified on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of ownership, on the basis of status of development. Once again, the natural resources can be classified on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of ownership, on the basis of status of development. Types of resources. on the basis of origin, biotic resources and abiotic resources. For each type of a resource, please write 2 examples. You know already the biotic resources are concerned. They are obtained from the biosphere, flora, fauna, fisheries, livestock, etc. Abiotic resources are concerned. They are non-living things. For example, rock, metals, etc. On the basis of exhaustibility, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. So the resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical and mechanical process are known as the renewable resources. It can replenish. So non-renewable resources means it is replenishment will take a long time, that to geological time. Minerals and fossil fuels, for example, it takes a millions of years to form. So these are the 2 types on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of ownership, individual resources, community owned resources. I hope individual resources means it is very clear for you. It will be owned by individuals or a group of individuals. Community owned resources are those which are accessible to all the members of the community. Common. For example, grazing land. In Kannada, we use ಗೋಮಾಳ. ಆಕಳುಗಳನ್ನು ದನಗಳನ್ನು ಮೇಯಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಯ್ಯತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸ್ಥಳಗಳು. ಆರ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಡು ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಓನ್ಡ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. Another one, national resources. Technically we can say that all the resources belong to the nation, but the country has a legal power to acquire any private property. But some of the properties are owned, managed, developed by the governments. Those we considered as a national resources. Examples, roads, canals, railways, etc. International resources. Dear students, this is the area where you have to note and learn very properly. There was a board question on this. The oceanic resources behind 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone belong to open ocean, and no individual country can utilize these without concurrence of international institutions. Once again, this part has to be understood. Exclusive economic zone owned by the international institutions. In this way, when it comes, these are the classification of the resources based on the ownership. On the basis of the status of development, potential resources which are found in a region but not being utilized. For example, wind and solar energy which is available in the Gujarat, Rajasthan, in a full we have not utilized it, but there is a potentiality to use. Developed resources which are surveyed, quality and quantity, determined for utilization also, but good technology is not available. It is not economically viable. That's why even though we know quantified and quality also we know, we have to wait for the use of these resources. These are called developed resources. Stock, materials in the environment which have potential to satisfy the human needs, but human beings do not have this appropriate technology yet. There is a potentiality where they can satisfy the needs of the human beings, but we do not have even the technology, accessibility also, and this cannot be quantified. Here, example, stock is concerned, for example, water is a compound of two gases we studied in the science, hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen can be used for the rich resource of energy, but advanced technical source is not available. How to use it? Hence, it is considered as the stock. Dear students, we may get confused with the developed resources and the stock. We have to be very careful in this. The development is concerned on technology availability. Second one, level of their feasibility, how far they are economically good to use. These things are considered, but the stock is concerned, technology also not going to help us. So another one, reserves. Reserve is such kind of the stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technology, but their use has not yet started. So this can be used in the future. This is one of the example for the reserves. Let us go to the development of resources. Development of resources. Dear students, resources cannot be used as obtained or produced or collected. They require some of processing, because human beings, to satisfy their needs, they have to process all these products. For this, the man has to make efforts. Use of skills, technology, invest capital, develop infrastructure for developing a resource, etc. So the resource development is an exercise for the utilization of resources. The resource development also includes conservation, judicious use and planned use, especially the exhaustible resources like oil or controlling the pollution. In short, we can say that resource development is utilization, exploitation and preservation of resource. Once again I will repeat, please note down. Resource development is utilization, exploitation and preservation of resource. The developed nations, so far which we call, they need to conserve a lot, because the consumption level in the developed nations and the developing nations, day by day it is increasing. It is leading for some of the environmental issues such as global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, land degradation, etc. So now everyone we have to think on sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Sustainable economic development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generation. That we call it as sustainable development. For that, lot of summits were held. One of the important one which was taken place in the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. Briefly you have to go through. There some important decisions were made and they prepared an Agenda 21. This Agenda 21 contains some of the guidelines for all the nations of the world. Dear students, when we come for the development of resources, here it not ends. We have quantified, classified, we realized resource development has to be very carefully, we have to do it. For that, the resource planning is very important. What is resource planning then? Resource planning is a technique, we can say, or strategy of proper and judicious utilization of resources. Once again, what is resource planning? Resource planning is a technique or strategy of proper and judicious utilization of resources. The resource planning also helps in many ways for us. For example, we can reduce the wastage. It keeps environmental pollution free, and we can care for conservation of resources for the future. But the resource planning involves three important stages. What are the three stages? It includes first stage, identification of resources in an area. Once again I will tell you, please note down. Resource planning involves three stages. First stage involves identification of resources in an area. In this first stage, including survey, mapping, assessing the quality and quantity of resource. This is the first stage of resource planning. In the second stage of the resource planning, it involves assessment of demand in the market, importance to economy, and availability of technology for developing that resource. This is the second stage. Third stage includes planning for the resource exploitation and contribution in the growth of national economy. I will repeat the second stage. It involves assessment of demand in the market, importance to economy, and availability of technology for the developing that resource. Third stage includes planning for the resource exploitation and its contribution in the growth of national economy. Dears, Resource planning is a complex process. As I told you, it includes the three stages. India has made concentrated efforts achieving the goals of resource planning right from its independence time. First 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, the 5-year plans also being prepared, how to develop our resources. In the history of colonization, how it is exploited and all, we have already learned in the history. Now the question is conservation of resources. What is conservation of resources? Conservation of resources is the management of judicious use of resources for sustainable benefit of development to present generation and meet the requirements of future generation without harming the environment. Once again, I will try to tell you what is conservation of resources. Conservation of resources is the management and judicious use of resources for sustainable benefit of development to present generation and meet the requirements of future generation without harming the environment in the form of pollution and exhaustion of resources. In the recent past, we have seen lot of exploitation of the natural resources. We did not pay any attention for the conservation. So in other words, we can say today we are concerned about the environment and making efforts to conserve it, as Gandhiji has remarked very nicely on it. There is enough for everybody's need, not for anybody's greed. So Gandhiji's statement, once again I will repeat to you all, there is enough for everybody's need, but not for anybody's greed. These words are true. We need to shun materialism in every sphere of life and encourage healthy competition without pressurizing resources. It is a need of the hour. Example, at present, the importance of all the natural resources now we are realizing and we are paying for it. We have to think in what are the way resources can be conserved, preserved, properly utilized, judiciously handled. Thank you. Please note down these questions and answer in your notebook. We will meet in the next class. Dhanyavad.